What is up, you guys? KIB Outdoors here, and I'm coming at you with a video that I thought would be helpful, especially for the winter season. And people do still fish here in the winter season. So pretty much I'm going to go through the baits that I would use during the winter. Well, not really during the winter, during this month of November. Here's the baits I'm going to use. Since it's a new year, this is November. This is not November, this is January. These are the baits for January. I'm going to do January, and I'm just going to do all through the year, through December, and see how this videotape works. So we're doing it in January at first, and this is only primarily for Ohio, just because our winters are going to be different than different states. Like if you go to Texas or down south somewhere, Alabama, Florida, you're going to be able to use any of these baits you want, because the fish aren't going to act the same as they would in a colder environment like here in Ohio with freezing waters and just water temps dropping in general. So here to start off, I have 10 baits here. 5 of them are baits that I would use. These are the 5 baits that I do use and would not use anything else during the month of January. And then 5 of them are baits that I would never touch during the month of January. Now, yet again, in other states you can use these baits that I'm not going to use just because of the weather. Here in Ohio, when the water temp goes down, the activity of the bass go down. What that means is when water temp goes down, they're going to be submerged, they're going to be sitting on the bottom, going to be in coverage, trying to keep as warm as they can, and they're not going to be active. They're not going to go after a crankbait. They're not going to be active and just striking at stuff. They're going to want something to come straight in front of their face, and they want it to hit it like that. That's when you're going to catch your fish, is if it's right in front of their face. I do have an odd bait that I would use in the month of January, mainly through the month of, well, the season of winter. I would use these types of baits, but this is just a January one. So here we go. We're going to start off with the baits I would not use. The don't use baits. So first off, none of these colors in primary matter. None of these colors for the do's and don'ts, the baits that I would or wouldn't use, don't matter. Other than one thing would actually matter on the color. So let's go. So to start off, we're going to do a lipless crankbait. This is not any specific color in general. It's just a Livingston Lure lipless crankbait, or I call it a red-eyed shad. That's sometimes what people call them. This is kind of like a crankbait, but it is used a little differently, as in sinks real fast when you're reeling it, and then it floats back to the top, and sinks, and then it'll float. Oh no, that isn't right. Crap. I'm sorry about that. I was thinking about the crankbait I was just looking at. Red-eyed shad do not do that. When you reel, they come up and then you drop them. Reel and then you drop them. I was doing the opposite because I was thinking of a crankbait. But for one, I said look this crankbait. For two, I was just looking at the crankbait. Yet again, don't get me wrong, this is a really good bait. Caught some good fish on this, but not for the month of January. Not a good bait to use. This is a floating frog. I wouldn't touch this. Not at all. I wouldn't even touch this bait. Number one, in the winter season, they're on the bottom. They're not going to come to the top and strike a frog at all. And usually during the summer, the bottom of the lake is the coldest part, and the top's going to be the warmest just because the sun's hitting it. But during the winter, the bottom's going to be the warmest, and the top's going to be the coldest. So they ain't coming up. They ain't even going to be hitting moving baits, really. They're not going to come up, and they're not going to hit this at all. You will never catch a fish in Ohio. Well, I haven't caught a fish in Ohio on a frog in the winter. Never has been done. Next, is a jerk bait. Yet again, wouldn't use this just because of the sporadic movement of it, and yeah, you might get it in front of its face. Like if this is a face and you get it to go in front of it, it moves too fast for that fish to hit, because it wants it to drop right in front of it and sit there for a second and then hit. I've noticed that fishing in the winter, if you let it sit for a couple seconds, 3-4 seconds, that's after the hit. After the 3-4 seconds is when they're actually going to strike that bait, not as soon as it hits the bottom. Let it sit for a second or two. So this is not a bait. This is a bait for about end of March into April when they're pre-spawn, spawn. Yeah, that's a good bait for that. Next is a Livingston jerk crankbait. This is just a, it's actually a square bill, but just a regular shallow square bill. Yet again, wouldn't use it just because of the sporadic movement of a square bill, and just because fish aren't going to hit it. It's shallow, it's going to be up, it's going to be 3-4 feet. If you're fishing ponds, they still aren't going to hit it unless if you move it real slow and it's just hitting bottom, they might hit it if the pond's that shallow at 3-4 feet. Then they might hit it, but if you're fishing a pond that can get down to 20 feet deep, which isn't very common for the state of Ohio, but if you're fishing a pond that's 20 feet deep, this is only going 3 to 4 feet, you ain't going to get a hit on it all day. That's how fast. This is a popper. I don't know what type of brand, but it's a Rapala popper. Yet again, ain't gonna use this. It does have a loud sound to it. It does attract fish during the summer, fall seasons, but when it comes to winter, they're not gonna touch this yet again. It's top water bait, just like the frog. They're not coming to the top. You will never see a fish in Ohio jump during the winter, unless there's something really wrong with the fish. So yeah, never use that. Alright, so that's my do not use baits. And let's move on to my do use baits. So we're going to start from left to right like we did up there. This is a finesse finesse worm. Just the reason I would use this is because of the low profile it has, colors it has. This is a really good color. I think it would work really good for the winter, and the shape that it has. And again, low profile. It's smaller, like it's long, but it's a small diameter. I would use this anywhere, ponds, lakes. If I would get into a lake during the winter, which I usually don't, I just fish ponds if I fish in the winter. But this is a bait that would be really good for ponds. The finesse jig worm, I keep saying finesse jig, finesse worm, really gonna be good getting on the bottom. Shaky head would be good for getting that little tail up there. But yeah, that's a really good one. Next one is my most used bait during the winter. This is the bait that I will use pretty much all throughout the winter. It is an ugly otter. This is Copperfield. Yeah, I think it's Copperfield, the color choice. There's two really similar colors to this, but this is the Copperfield with the tan bottom and the green top. Really good bait. I catch fish on this all throughout the year. Really, really good bait. I love this bait. But that would be my main go-to bait during the winter. I mean, I've had people asking me, what do you use during the winter? I need to know what to use. I cannot catch fish during the winter. If any bait, this is the one I would go to, especially for ponds. I nail them on the ponds. When I trap, we bring a fishing pole with us if I'm trapping around ponds. And we have this bait on it. We have caught probably like, I think we caught like 10 is our best at a pond with this bait during the winter. That's really good. Next one is a missile bait. This is a, let me think. DeBomb. This is the DeBomb bait missile. Another really good, it has like the same shape as a physical being as the ugly otter, but it just has, it's flat, it has like more tails, shapes of the tails are different, so it has different movements, but it's practically the same thing, and it really does work good too. This next bait is the spinner bait. This is the only color you want to use your winner. Only color that will be used your winner. Yes, it moves, but it works. I've heard of a guy that he's now a professional fisherman. I cannot remember who he is, but he fishes. He is from Ohio, and during the winter, he said it was during December. It was snowing. He was throwing this up shallow, 2 feet of water, and catching bass on this. A white spinnerbait. That's the only color that you should use during the winter. Only color that works during the winter. Just have this thing moving real slow up shallow, and that might actually work. And then, as always, the flipping jig. Not a specific color again, but the flipping jig is the main bait that really at any time of the year I would use. Big fish, the profile on it is going to be like big fish. You're going to catch some big fish on this. That's mainly what they're known for. If you throw a jig, you're said to catch bigger fish. So, and keep them small fish out of the water as well. But hey, jigs are really going to be good for the winter just because of the movement of them. Up, down. They're going to come down faster, but then you're going to pull them up real slow, and then they're going to come down. And you have to remember, you have to leave these baits other than a spinnerbait. You can do it with a spinnerbait too if you'd like. Leave it sit on the bottom for 3 to 4 seconds, and you will catch so many more fish going on it. So yeah, you guys, I really hope this will help anybody who needs help trying to figure out